The next morning, Denzel walked through Central Park with a baseball cap pulled low and sunglasses over tired eyes. The city buzzed around him, unaware that a storm was quietly forming. Every step he took, he replayed that moment in the video. Cue card handed to Colbert, the whispered instructions, the black car with diplomatic plates. His phone buzzed, unknown number. He hesitated, then answered. Calm voice spoke. They know you have the footage. Don't upload it, not yet. Denzel stopped walking. Who is this? The same people who kept your movie alive until yesterday. Silence. Release the video now, the voice continued, and you'll lose everything. But if you wait, we'll show you who's really pulling the strings. The call ended. Denzel stared at the trees ahead. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sure whether telling the truth would save lives or destroy more. That evening, he met with an old friend, Clarissa Grant, a former journalist turned whistleblower. She had exposed a media cover-up years ago and paid the price with her career. They sat in the back booth of a quiet jazz bar. No cameras. No microphones. Just the clink of glasses and a saxophone playing low in the background. You're being handled, Clarissa said after Denzel showed her the USB footage. Whoever sent this, they're not trying to help you. They're baiting you. Why? Denzel asked. Because you're the perfect pawn. Respected.com, trusted. If you explode, the world listens. But if they can push you to act out, you become the distraction from the real story. Denzel sighed. What's the real story, Clarissa? She slid a folder across the table. Inside were internal memos from a private intelligence firm called Pravox Group, a name he had never heard before. They're the ghostwriters, she said. They script the chaos behind the scenes. Media storms, online trends. Narrative. Shifts. They don't care about left or right, they care about control. Denzel leaned back, absorbing it. So what do I do? Clarissa looked him in the eye. You stop reacting. You start investigating. That night, Denzel returned home and dug through everything old scripts. Emails, promotional contracts, even the security clearances for his film screenings. The patterns were there, hidden in the footnotes. Each time he had tried to speak, honestly, about issues like fatherhood, discipline, or faith. Subtle pushback followed. Sudden PR shifts, negative headlines, abrupt delays. And now he finally understood. His influence scared people not because he was radical, but because he was reasonable. Reason was the real threat. At 3:17 a.m., his email pinged again. From Pravox Ops Center, subject, offer ends soon. Attached was a PDF, a draft article from a known outlet, framing Denzel's recent comments as borderline dangerous rhetoric. Below it, a chilling message. You still have a choice. Disavow the footage, call it edited, and we'll reinstate your film deal. Otherwise, it all burns. The next morning, headlines started appearing. Denzel's fall from grace. Faith or fascism? Has Washington gone too far? Colbert's painful interview was Denzel out of line. They were executing the plan, discrediting him before he could speak. The footage hadn't even leaked yet, and the damage control had already begun. But Denzel was calm now. He knew what he had to do. He called Clarissa again. It's time. She paused. Are you sure? Once it's out, they'll come for everything. Not leaking it, Denzel said. Going live. That afternoon, Denzel sent a single tweet. Tonight. No filters, no edits. I'm telling you everything they didn't want you to see. It exploded instantly. The link led to a secure stream, hosted independently. No sponsors. No media. Gatekeepers. Just one camera, one chair, and the man America thought they already knew. At 8 p.m. sharp, Denzel stepped into the frame, sat down, looked directly into the lens, and spoke. I've been on a lot of sets in my life. I've read thousands of pages of scripts. But what I saw in that studio last week wasn't acting, it was programming. And tonight, I'm going to show you the difference. He then played the footage edited, the cue card, the whisper, the black car. Then he paused the video. That man in the suit doesn't work for CBS. He doesn't even work for a media company. He's a handler from Prevox, a private influence firm that's been embedded in our networks, our platforms, and even our films. Their job isn't to inform you, it's to shape you. He paused again. I've spent my life telling stories. Tonight, I'm helping you rewrite one. The stream stayed live for an hour. No commercial breaks, no questions, just Denzel.com and unwavering, showing emails, evidence, and timelines. By the end, millions were watching. And more importantly, millions were thinking. He didn't ask them to believe everything. He asked them to ask why they hadn't been told sooner. As the stream ended, the final words on screen weren't his name or a slogan. Just this: the truth isn't trending. It's waking up. Somewhere in a dark control room, someone turned off a screen. Phase 2 has begun, a voice said quietly. But Denzel had already begun his own plan, and he wasn't acting anymore. By morning, the internet was on fire. Clips from Denzel Washington's livestream flooded every platform. Millions had watched in real time, but now tens of millions were seeing it in fragments on news feeds, in classrooms, in quiet forwarded messages between friends who didn't trust traditional media anymore. The hashtags #PrevoxXpost and #DenzelUnfiltered were trending worldwide. But while the public woke up, powerful people behind closed doors were already reacting. Inside a secure building in Northern Virginia, a glass-walled conference room, filled with executives and military consultants, stared at a paused frame of Denzel's face, mid-speech. Containment failed, one man said, scrolling through a tablet. We underestimated how fast it would spread. An older woman, dressed in navy, responded coldly. We underestimated him. The room fell silent. Across the country, Denzel sat at his kitchen table, sipping black coffee. He hadn't slept, not because he was afraid, he was ready, but because something was still missing. Why now? He asked aloud. Why push so hard this week? His phone buzzed. It was Clarissa. Turn on Channel 9. International Desk. Denzel grabbed the remote. The screen lit up with breaking news. A foreign journalist in Brussels had been found de-drooled to suicide. But early footage showed bruises on his arms and neck. His name was Amir Haddad, a known media analyst who had published several reports on foreign influence operations and U.S. political media overlap. What's the connection? Denzel asked. Clarissa's voice dropped. He was tracking Prevox too. I spoke with him last week. He had files, real ones. Now they're missing. Denzel stood up slowly. We need to get them back. Night, in a quiet corner of a church basement in D.C., Denzel met Clarissa in person again. With them was a third figure, Maya Haddad, Amir's sister. She looked shaken but determined. He told me to bring this if anything happened to him, she said, handing over a weathered flash drive and a handwritten note. The note read, If they silence me, let the truth speak louder. Start with Geneva. Track the echo chamber project. DW will understand. Denzel stared at the initials. They weren't after me, he said. They were using me. To silence this, the flash drive, when opened, showed encrypted documents, emails, and foreign bank transfers linking Prevox to media buys, not only in the U.S., but in Europe and Africa's strategic campaigns designed to distort elections, rewrite conflicts, even inflame racial divisions using fake viral content. One file stood out, a hidden folder titled the Geneva Protocol. Inside, a contract between Prevox, several lobbyists, and a confidential division within the U.S. State Department authorizing narrative interventions in domestic media during times of public instability. This isn't just propaganda, Clarissa whispered. It's legalized manipulation. They've made truth a weapon, Maya added. Denzel rubbed his face. and they're going to use it again soon. As they spoke, a black SUV pulled up across the street. "Time's up," Maya said, peeking through the blinds. "They found us." Clarissa grabbed the drive. Denzel opened the back exit. Moved through alleyways, staying in shadows, avoiding main roads. After 20 tense minutes, they reached Clarissa's old newsroom, now abandoned. Inside, she powered up a dormant server, hoping to upload the files. But the signal was blocked. "They're jamming local towers," she said. A loud knock echoed from the front entrance. Denzel looked at Maya. "We can't run forever," he said. "But we can go live again." Clarissa hesitated. "They'll cut every stream. Not if we go through him," Maya said. "Who?" Clarissa asked. Maya's eyes narrowed. "My brother trusted one last person, his former mentor at the World Broadcast Network. It's in Geneva. If we get there, we can air this globally." Denzel nodded. "Then we go to Geneva." 2 days later, under false names and diplomatic clearance smuggled through an old friend in the embassy, Denzel, Clarissa, and Maya arrived quietly in Switzerland. They didn't check into a hotel. They didn't use phones. They moved through the city like ghosts. Geneva was calm on the surface, diplomatic suits, European cafes, neutral flags waving in the summer breeze. But underground, something darker stirred. Denzel could feel it. The signal didn't cut. Not after 30 seconds. Not after a minute. Not after 5. For nearly 12 uninterrupted minutes, Denzel Washington spoke to the world. Clarissa stood beside him. Ka Haddad held her brother's final files in her hands. Behind them, a screen-scrolled document after document, contracts, messages, classified correspondence exposing how Pravox had been shaping global narratives, exploiting racial tensions and orchestrating division across borders. They didn't beg for attention. They didn't plead for sympathy. They just showed the truth, and the world watched. Inside a U.S. intelligence facility in Maryland, emergency calls flooded the floor. "Who authorized this?" someone barked. But no one had answers. The signal hadn't come from any known platform. It had bounced between aging satellites, unregistered stations, and European analogs still operational in developing regions. Inside the White House, an emergency meeting was called. International embassies were already receiving calls for statements. The president's press team worked around the clock. But it was too late. The public had seen everything. News networks couldn't ignore it anymore. The footage was being played in countries that never aired American news. BBC, Al Jazeera, France 24, CBC, every outlet that could verify the files independently began reporting them. Even Fox News and MSNBC, enemies by nature, broadcasted the same file dump simultaneously. A rare silence spread across America's usual media war, and that silence turned into a reckoning. For Denzel, the storm came fast. Journalists camped outside every known address linked to him. Old friends were questioned. Some media tried to spin it, calling it irresponsible, whistleblowing, or a performance, but it didn't work. Because the man who stood on screen hadn't performed. It simply told the truth, in calm, unwavering words, in the face of systems much bigger than him. And that's what struck people. For days after the Geneva broadcast, a vote was held in the U.S. Senate Intelligence Committee. A public investigation into Pravox's activities was approved. It wasn't unanimous, but it passed. More shocking was the resignation of 2 high-ranking government advisors who were directly tied to the leaked documents. One had secretly approved Pravox's funding under National Information Security. The term became a national joke overnight. Denzel refused all interview requests. He didn't appear on talk shows. He didn't accept awards. But he agreed to meet one last time with Clarissa and Maya, this time in New Orleans. They gathered in a quiet chapel that had once been flooded during Hurricane Katrina. A place where voices had gone unheard before. a place that still held scars. I didn't think it would go this far, Maya whispered. Clarissa nodded. But it had to. Denzel looked out the window at the rebuilding city. They won't stop. With just exposure, he said. They'll find new names, new methods. It's what power does. But now the people know what to look for. Maya handed him a sealed envelope. It's from Amir. He wrote it before he died. Denzel opened it slowly. Inside was a single line. Truth doesn't need to be loud, just needs to last. Denzel folded the letter. He didn't speak for a moment. Then he turned to Clarissa. I'm done fighting on their stages. But I'll keep speaking wherever people still listen. She smiled. You've changed more than you know. Months later, the world had changed. Not completely, but noticeably. Media outlets were forced to publicly disclose funding sources. Prevox dissolved overnight, but its former executives were subpoenaed. Colbert's show was suspended indefinitely. An internal review revealed producers had been pressured to generate controversy using seeded questions, some of which traced back to Prevox files. Colbert himself went silent. In his last statement, he admitted he had lost sight of the line between satire and manipulation. But more importantly, a new media platform was born. Created by independent journalists, funded by citizen donations. Its first live broadcast featured three faces: Maya Haddad, Clarissa Fields, and Denzel Washington. They didn't argue. They didn't accuse. They investigated together. The tagline was simple: no filters, just light. One final scene. Denzel walks alone on a quiet street in Harlem. A small boy and his mother recognize him. The boy asks, "Are you the guy who told the truth on TV?" Denzel smiles, kneels down, and says, "No, son. I'm just the guy who didn't stay quiet." The boy nods like he understands something bigger than his age. As Denzel walks away, the camera pans up to a building wall. It's a mural of Denzel, Clarissa, and Maya now covers the brick. Below it, spray painted in bold black letters. They tried to script the truth. He broke the cue cards.